I wanted to do something relating to religion, to my Christian faith, because I go to a public school, and I feel like there is a lot of stigma around religion. So I wanted to put my values out there in the form of art. One of my pieces is called Grandma's Faith. It's a portrait of my grandma. She's a key part in our family, and I wanted to dedicate a piece to her. And then my sister Tali is in the second piece called Tali's Faith. She's 2 years younger than me, and she's also a really big support in my art journey, I guess. I started by looking at really traditional Christian art, like the Renaissance period, and looking at the really intricately detailed stuff. But then I kind of, over time, I realized I wanted to look at more what religion looks like in contemporary society, specifically in the 21st century. So I kind of wanted to merge the two to make it more relatable for the audience. Aaron Stanley inspired me. He does extremely hyper-realistic portraits of people from everyday settings. It seems like you're seeing a real person instead of like a piece of art. So I used graphite pencil for both of the portraits. I tried to get a lot of different textures, so layering really helped me do that because I could build up and exaggerate some of the textures and the darker areas and make the highlights of the subject less confronting. So for the shadowy areas and the low lights, I used tonal rendering. That's where you differ the pressure of the pencil on the paper to make it more seamless between light and dark. And then I did use stippling for my grandma's portrait to try and create a more rough looking texture on her face. My table was really messy. I used the dining table and it was spread out everywhere. My mum got a bit annoyed at me. I sharpened my pencil so much. But yeah, I had to sharpen it a lot for the more defined areas, like the details. I kind of wanted to distort the perspective a little bit. You can kind of tell that the proportions are a bit enlarged in some places. For my grandma's portrait, I made her gloves, like the dishwashing gloves, bigger because I really wanted to emphasize the symbolism of like the contemporary clothing, the Bible, to shed a light on what does religion look like in modern day society. This was the first time I've done such big scale pieces. I was a bit scared at first, but I knew that I wanted to make them life size. I think it was a bit challenging for me to get my head around the proportions because when you're focusing so intently on like such small details, it's easy to get caught up in making it really small, but it was quite meditative. I think what's really important is picking A, subject matter that you like and you can relate to, and B, mediums that you're confident in. When you're comfortable, you're more likely to create something that's like better and more successful.